Hi, good morning or good afternoon, class. So this is our first lesson, the concepts of globalization. The concepts of globalization is the first topic on, because we have divided our topics into three parts, which is the structure of globalization. As you can see in our classroom, there are three structures of globalization, and under the structures of globalization, we have the concepts of globalization. So, at the end of this section, you are expected to first examine the various conceptions of globalization. Number two, distinguish the different definitions of globalization from the experts. And three is to adopt a working definition of globalization. So to begin, the question is, what is globalization? Right? So as you can see on your screen, it says that globalization refers to the integration of the national markets to a wider global market signified by the increased free trade. It also means the onset of the borderless world, and it is also the expansion and intensification of social relations and consciousness across world time and across world and space, according to Manfred Stiger. Okay, so there are many scholars that dealt or discussed this topic, and there is no single definition of globalization. Actually, it's a broad concept, or it's a broad topic. One thing is for sure. So, of all the experts discussing globalization, there's one thing that's for sure, that globalization is a phenomenon. This is something that is difficult to understand, something that is obscure, right? According to Manfred's definition, the definition of Manfred was actually considered as the objective, the most unbiased working definition of globalization. From his definition, he has identified four attributes of globalization. And those four attributes are these. Number one is that globalization has various forms and forms of connectivity, such as that it can be economic, it can be political, or it can be cultural, right? So for example, in the globalization, in the various forms of globalization, one example can be a Filipino with which is a minimum wage earner, meaning they are paid on a day-to-day basis. The minimum salary rate may suffer from a slight price hike of basic commodities. So if the basic commodities like food increases, even the slight increase of the basic commodity or food, it will trigger them to suffer, compared to others who are actually earning above the minimum wage. Because there is a minimum wage. For minimum wage, for example, in Metro Manila, it should be around 500 pesos. Here in Mindanao, that should be around 300 pesos. That's the minimum wage. So if you are earning a minimum wage, as any slight change of the price, if it increases, you will suffer. If it decreases, it is going to be a blessing for you because the price decreased and you are earning a minimum wage. But if it increases, you will suffer compared to the others who are earning more. Let's say, for example, in Mindanao, if they are earning around 500 pesos, that's more than the minimum wage in Mindanao, then you will not be affected, right? So that's how the one of the attributes of globalization. The second one is that globalization allows for the expansion and stretching of social relations. So what does that mean? This can be observed in the existence of non-government organizations, or we call them NGOs. These NGOs operate in the local, regional, and international setting. So it can be in our local area. For example, will be the Philippine National Red Cross, which is actually an affiliate or connected to the International Committee of the Red Cross. So that's one example. Another example is the Cebu City, the cooperation of Cebu City and the Haarlemmermeer City of Netherlands. So there is an expansion of social relations. It's not the same before, wherein your social relations are within your neighborhood, within the other barangays, within the other municipality, or within the other city. But in this time where there is globalization as a phenomenon, there is an expansion, or there's a stretching of social relations, where us are having relations, social relations with other countries and other organizations. Okay, so the third attribute is that globalization intensifies and accelerates social exchanges and activities. So it promotes, accelerate it, speed up social exchanges and activities. An example for that will be like the live telecast and shift from the snail mail. Do you know what the snail mail is? Before you were born, people are communicating through mail, and it is called actually as snail mail, because it takes weeks, months before you are able to receive the letter. But right now, there's already live telecast is available. What do you call that? Facebook Live is available. So meaning any event that is happening around the world can easily be accessed by everyone, right? Unlike in the 1990s, some Filipinos could watch international TV shows only a week after the episode aired. So let's say, for example, the Miss Universe happened today. We can only watch it on TV a week from today. We're not able to watch it live. Compared today, anything that is happening now can be accessed, can be watched from someone anywhere in the world. Okay, so that's what is being described as intensification and acceleration of social exchanges and activities. Okay, another one is the globalization occurs worldwide, meaning it happens everywhere. So every one of us is actually considered as a global citizen, because you or me, we actually think about what is happening around the world. We are concerned of the issues of the world, and in our way, in one way or another, we actually participate in what is happening around the world in our little way. Say, for example, we participate in Earth Hour. Do you remember where we turn off all our electricity consumption for 1 hour? Which happens every third Sunday of March. So that's a participation. That's actually one of the manifestations to support that globalization happen around the world. This is not just happening in one area, but this is happening around the world. Another issue is that the COVID-19, right? COVID-19, as you can see, everybody is affected, right? Why is it that it started in China and suddenly it's already in the Philippines, it's already in Kabadbaran? It's because our interaction, our relations have expanded, right? So it's being carried over by people traveling, by people from China going to another countries and going to the Philippines. So there is a worldwide effect. Okay, so those are according to Manfred, that these are the attributes of the globalization, meaning it has many forms. It can be in economic, it can be in political, it can be in cultural. It also allows us to have an expanded relationship with others. It intensifies our social exchanges, and it is happening around the world. Alright, so for the next slide, you'll see here, these are how globalization is defined by the experts. Okay, so when we say experts, that will be experts in each of the important fields. So first is that globalization, according to the experts, is a process. When we say process, it means that it did not happen right there and then, meaning it went through a step-by-step process. So for example, you started on the elementary level, high school level, and now you are in college. So globalization is not a process. It did not happen in a snap of a finger. It happened in a very, very long process. Okay, it can be globalization may be defined and conceptualized from different or different discipline, different field, and different profession, location, etc. Right? So this is a process. This is a series of action or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. Right? So these are steps, small steps, until it became this vague, this obscure concept of globalization. Another one is globalization, according to the expert, is a condition. When we say condition, it's a system of widely shared ideas, pattern beliefs, guiding norms and values, and regulated ideals accepted as fact or truth by some group. So if it's a condition, meaning it deals with our norms, our ideas, how we our beliefs, our guiding principles. So that's a condition. Then we have globalization is an ideology. Okay, when we say ideology, this is a system of widely shared ideas, pattern beliefs, guiding norms and values, and regulated ideas. So if it's an ideology, this is something that you believe in. Okay, so there, as defined by the experts, this is a process. This is not a overnight phenomenon. This is a condition. This is our beliefs. This is an ideology. This is what we believe in. In conclusion, according to anthropologist Arjun Appadurai, different kinds of globalization occur on multiple and interesting dimensions of integration that he calls scapes. So this is another explanation of globalization by the anthropologist Arjun Appadurai. Right, so he called these dimensions and integration scapes. One is the ethnoscape. So according to him, ethnoscape refers to the global movement of people. So with the ethnology, meaning these are the people, the global movement, the movement of people from one place to another. So that is what he called ethnoscape. Another one is the mediascape. Mediascape, according to him, is about the flow of culture. So when people move, we bring with us our culture, right? So if we are going to migrate to the USA, even if we are in the US, we are still Filipino. We still cook adobo. We still cook pancit, right? We still have our religious beliefs with us. It does not disappear. You are still a Filipino because you are still bringing the culture with you. Then another concept is the technoscape. It refers to the circulation of mechanical goods and software. Okay, so this is where if you are familiar with import and export, like we import goods from other country to inside the Philippines, and we export goods from us, goods that we make, and sell it to the other countries. So there is a technoscape, an exchange of products, goods, and even software. So that is what is called technoscape. Financescapes. Financescapes, it denotes the global circulation of money. Okay, so Filipinos use peso. That's the name of our currency or of our money. However, we do not mainly use pesos, right? We use dollars. We also use dollars in the form of export and import, and also in the form of remittances coming from our loved one, our family that are working abroad. Okay, so they work abroad, they send money to the Philippines in dollar, and it is converted into pesos. Okay, so there is a global circulation of money. If you will notice, there are so many money exchange stores because there is a circulation of global money, right? We do not use just a single currency. We are using different currencies. Then the ideoscape. This is the realm where political ideas move around. Okay, so whether we agree or not, political ideas are actually being exchanged. Okay, so most of the Filipinos are aware of the political activities in other countries and vice versa. So there is a movement, there is a sharing of political ideas. Right, so Arjun Appadurai stated further that these various scapes, the one that we described in the previous slide, have different logics. They are thus windows into the broader phenomenon of globalization. So we really cannot explain globalization in just one sentence, in just one area, because globalization is very it's a very broad topic. It can be explained in different aspects. It is being defined by experts, and it also has attributes. So, right, so that's it. For this topic, I tried to compress it so that we will be able to capture the whole idea of what is globalization. And in addition to this, I have added a video on a short video on another way of explaining globalization. So I hope that everything is clear, and thank you for watching. You can download this material so you can go through and review it for future reference. So again, thank you and have a nice day.